Hello there. How is your day going? I hope it's treating you right. So, today we are going to learn something very resourceful, and that is to refuse. And what do I mean? That is simply to say no, however, politely. Okay? So, today we are going to talk about smart boundary English, where you're going to draw your own boundaries when you are looking at refusing to answer certain questions. Okay, so this one is for office or formal situations. That is the first strategy. However, I would just want to tell you that fluent speakers just know certain vocabulary pretty well, and along with that they know how to manage conversations. Okay, sometimes the best answer is not answering directly to any question that you really don't want answer to. But how do you do that? You need to keep in mind that you have to be polite, you have to be confident at the same time, and the conversation should pretty much, flow smoothly. Now, is it possible? Is it possible that you want to say no and you do not want to say you do not want to say yes to that particular question? However, you have to stay polite. Yes, it's pretty much possible, and that is why we got you some strategies today, guys. We've got you some wonderful strategies just to let you know that these techniques aren't just random phrases or random sentences that I'm going to talk about, but they are carefully curated communication tools designed at GK Pro to help you sound natural, confident, and intelligent in English. Okay, so let's look at strategy number one for today, the professional shield. Please do not go ahead and get overwhelmed when you look at these, the topics or the name of the topics. However, just to make it interesting, I kind of give certain catchy topics so that you can remember them easily. That's all the whole thing is. Again, I ended up drawing a heart. Okay, that looks so cute. Okay, so the first strategy is for official or formal usage. Instead of saying, I don't want to tell you, if someone asks you a question that you do not want to answer, all right, you are just going to kind of not say that I don't want to tell you, all right. You move the reasons to rules and not feelings. What am I saying? You pretty much move the reason why you're not answering to rules. Remember certain rules when you're telling no to a person, and don't go by emotional feelings is what I'm kind of trying to convey here. So you can say something like, if you're looking at, some office meetings, or any person, your colleague has come up and asked you a certain question, but you cannot give that information out. In order to protect that particular information without sounding rude or defensive, how would you answer? Or what are the sentences that you can pretty much use in order to say no when someone in your official setting, that is your workplace, comes up and asks you a certain question and you do not want to answer that, or you do not want to leak that information out? All right. So let's go ahead and look at the phrases. Okay. Now, phrase number one, I'm not at liberty to say. What do you mean by that? You mean that you literally do not have any liberty to say that. Okay. You cannot say that. So just without just saying, I don't want to tell you, because it sounds very rude, right? If you just kind of go ahead and say, if a person is asking you a question, if you tell that person, I really don't want to tell you, or I don't want to talk to you, it sounds rude. So you're just going to use this phrase instead in your professional setting, your office place, your college, your school, anywhere. You would just say that I'm not at liberty to say. Look at the example sentence. I am not at liberty to say what the company's plan, what the company's plan is next, or what the company's next plan is. Okay. So I hope you understood the usage of this particular phrase. All right. The next phrase that I got for you today is that's confidential. Superb phrase wherein you can just tell the person that it's confidential. I cannot give the info to you. Why? Because I'm not allowed to, unless you just go ahead and say that's confidential. Do not go ahead and elaborate these sentences, because when you really don't want to give any information to this person, there is no point in elaborating those sentences further. So that's confidential is a powerful phrase. Please go ahead and use it when someone asks you a particular question to which you do not want to pretty much answer. Okay, great. So let's look at an example sentence. I am sorry, that's confidential information. How about that? It sounds pretty clean and crisp as well. Doesn't sound childish, very professional. I'm sorry, that's confidential, sir. That's truly confidential, ma'am. I cannot give you that set of information today. Right? Great. Let's look at the third example for today. I cannot discuss that at the moment. So, one thing to keep in mind, guys, that all these phrases can be memorized. Now if you really like memorizing things, because memorizing in a kind of it's kind of easy to memorize these phrases and use them in daily life. However, if you are not a big fan of memory, or if you're not a big fan of memorizing things, what exactly you can do is you just can go ahead and write these sentences down in your book, or anything that you pretty much carry around often, and you can look at that and use these phrases in your daily conversation as well. It doesn't really matter, and no one is going to judge you for that. You can look at the phrases also and talk. All right, great. So, as I told you, the third sentence is I cannot discuss that at the moment. What does that mean? I can't the sentence is I can't discuss the project details right now. All right. So why it works? So you shift the reason from you to the rules or policy. All right. Now I just want to kind of tell you that there is strategy number two on the screen. Okay. And it talks about the polite personal. And what do you mean by the polite personal? It is somewhere wherein you are looking at kind of going personal. Pretty much you are not using your sentences, or you're not getting out of that topic that is not personal to you. Okay? When the topic is private and not professional, you will be using strategy 2. And what is that? This is somewhere you can also go ahead and give a tap on your back, because you are using this strategy on your own, guys. You are going to follow a certain rule wherein you are forming your own sentences, and this is not in a professional setting. Okay, so look at the first phrase here. That's personal. If there is a person who comes and asks you, a person A comes and asks you, can you tell me something about your personal life? Now, if you really don't want to discuss something which is truly your own, you can just use this phrase. You can say that's personal. Okay, let us look at the example sentence. That's personal, but thanks for understanding. Okay, now this particular word is my favorite. It helps you to get out of difficult situations as well. So please go ahead and use your thanks, your sorries, and your please, okay, in order to sound, fluent as well as understanding at the same time. Okay. Now, as I told you, this is for private topics like money, relationships, and private life as well. You don't attack, all right? You don't attack the particular person who's asking you a certain question. You just set a calm boundary, all right? You just tell sentences like, I'd rather not talk about it. And what happens here? There is a sense of emotion that comes in, sir, here, all right? There is a sense of emotion that comes in here. I rather I'd rather not talk about it. When you use this phrase, you look like you're emotionally moved with that particular question that person is asking you. So look at the example sentence. It says, I'd rather not talk about my salary. Okay, many people get offended when you ask them certain information related to their salary or their age, and things like that. So go ahead and use this phrase when you feel that you're emotionally not going to answer that question because you don't like it. All right, you're going to use that phrase. Now the third phrase, the third example under strategy number 2, where you're kind of looking at the polite personal the topic. Okay, the polite personal boundary, that is our strategy number 2. So under that, the third example or the phrase that I'm going to talk about is maybe some other time. All right, so this is very sweet and very cute, that you really don't want to hurt the person who's asking you the question. You would say maybe some other time. All right, not right now, because I'm not in that emotional state that I could answer you. All right, so the example sentence sounds something like this: maybe some other time I'll share that story. All right, probably the person is not in mood to talk about that particular circumstance or the situation that the person was really into. Okay, and why does this work? Because you show choice, not anger, guys. This is very important to remember. Please don't show any anger when you really don't want to kind of answer any set of question coming out from a person that you really don't want to talk to as well. Okay, so there are certain other sentences which you cannot see on the screen. You can also say that's a bit private actually. This sentence also is very good. Another sentence you can use is I usually keep that to myself. What are you saying? In rather, you're just saying that it's a secret. I do not tell it out to anyone. What is the sentence? I usually keep that to myself. That information, I keep it to myself. I do not want to talk about it. Another phrase that you can pretty much use under strategy number 2, the polite personal boundary, is I'm not comfortable talking about that. A very easy sentence. And I pretty much tell you to do the same thing. Write it down somewhere and use it, practice, and see how you can, be polite towards people. Let's look at strategy 3. It's known as the time buffer. What do you mean by time buffer? Okay. Sometimes you just need time. So at that point of time, do not say the word no. That is, don't say the word no. Never say no when you are directly talking to a person, all right, a real person or anyone actually, either on the phone or even face to face conversations. They don't, kind of settle to a certain humanity level. So do not say no. Okay. So what do I mean by time buffer? All right. Time buffer is when you just need time. So you're not looking at saying no, you're just looking at a process wherein you're kind of going to delay the whole response that you want to give. What am I saying? You're going to delay. Okay, so what do I mean when I say delay is that this strategy can be used when you want to tell the answer to this person, or this person has just come up and asking you a question that you really do not want to talk about right now, but probably in the near future you have an opportunity to talk to this person, and you are going to let that person know at that point of time. So people randomly ask certain questions to which we do not want to really answer. So there you just have to look at this process of delaying your response. And how do you do that? By using phrases like these. Look at the screen, guys. The first phrase is, let me get back to you. Now, what is the example sentence? Let me get back to you on that question. Nice, right? It's very simple even to like remember. The next one is, I will check and tell you later. Right? I will check and tell you later. What are we doing? We are creating a certain time frame for ourselves. Okay, we are creating certain natural lines for ourselves wherein we are buying some time to get out of that situation, and at the same time we are polite. All right, we are very kind, we are polite, and we are not telling this person no, I'm not going to answer that to you, or I'm not interested to talk to you. We just cannot talk to people at that level at all. All right, great. Now let's kind of go ahead and check out the third phrase for today. Wait and see. Very small, very sweet, very crisp as well. Wait and see. It's a surprise. Very friendly also, right? This particular phrase. Wait and see. Wait and see. It's a surprise for you. Wait and watch also can be used. All right. Now, there are a few other lines that I would want to add here to this particular strategy, that is the time buffer, wherein we are looking at delaying a response. What are we doing? We are delaying. Exactly like how, that's a weird line I just drew on the screen. Okay, I just wanted to kind of draw a road here to show that we are delaying the whole response. Okay, that doesn't really look like a road. Let me just give you this. Okay, I think now it looks like a road. All right, let's get back to the main concept, guys. All right, nice drawing. I pretty much like all my scribblings and drawings on on the screen. I enjoy that. All right. Okay. So, what did I say? When you need time, you want to delay. It's like you're creating a road. All right. You're creating a pathway. For what? You're creating a pathway for what? For giving out that certain response after some time. Okay. So these are the phrases you're going to be looking at. Now, why does this work? Because you don't refuse, you just postpone the idea of giving them the answer. Am I clear? I hope I'm clear. Okay. So, why does this work? You do not refuse, guys. You do not refuse. You just postpone. You tell this person that, okay, not right now. You just wait and see. It's going to be a surprise for you. All right. So there's another small sentence that I want to add here, or another phrase that I want to kind of really share with you guys is that give me a little time on that. A beautiful sentence, all right, perfectly curated, just to tell the person, no, I'm not going to tell you anything about it. All right. So give me a little time on that is something that you really have to use on daily basis when you really don't want to answer this person. Okay, the fourth strategy for today is the redirection move. All right. The redirection move. All right. What do you mean by the redirection move? Is fluent speakers really do not stop conversations. All right. They steer them away. What do you mean by steer? Steer in the sense when you're driving a car and you have a particular direction that you have to go. All right. These are the four ways I'm drawing just to make you understand. So, if you're driving a car and you're pretty much coming and you have kind of chosen this road. Now this person asks you something. I'm talking in terms of language. It's not like literally I'm driving a car here. Now, this person doesn't want to kind of, answer this question. So, what will he do? He will just redirect his direction. Instead of going straight, he will just go this side. Now, this is what is redirection move. And what does it feel like when you use it in phrase like this? Look at the screen. Okay. Anyway, a very small word, right? Anyway. So example sentence will look like this. Anyway, how's your new job going? So what's happening here? Try to understand the whole scene. There are two people, they're talking to each other, and there is some question or there is something that a person has asked a person B. A person A has asked a person B, and the person B really doesn't want to talk about it. So what is happening? They are redirecting or they are steering away from the main point. They're steering away from the main point. They're taking the car and they're just going the other way around. They're not going to say directly, no, that I don't want to talk about it. So, anyway, change the topic. How's your new job? You're changing the topic. So, that is nothing but the redirection move for you. All right. Now, let's look at the second phrase for this under the redirection move is speaking of that. Okay. Speaking of work, have you met the new manager? Again, if you can look at this particular sentence, all right, it says that they have been talking about something. They have been talking about something. However, this particular sentence, speaking of that, or speaking of anything really, has changed the whole concept, and very politely you have steered away from the main conversation. You have just managed to kind of, you know, uh, suffix another sentence like, have you met the new manager? You have changed the whole conversation. So what are you doing? You're redirecting yourself through English language. All right? Very good. Now, the next example is by the way. Very easy, all right. It's very easy even to memorize. By the way, did you finish the report? All of a sudden, you're talking about something really emotional or very sensitive. Um, you can just redirect yourself if you don't want to answer that question. You will say, by the way, did you finish that report? What happened to that? It was supposed to be on my table, or it was supposed to be, you were supposed to finish it. What happened to that? So what are you doing? You're changing the whole topic. Okay. So this is a smooth topic shift. All right. There's only one goal in mind so that you do not have any awkward silence. All right. So just to kill that awkward silence, you can use these phrases. All these phrases are in regards to that itself. Okay. Let's move on to strategy number 5, the question deflection. I love this one. Let me try to draw a heart. Hopefully it will become a heart. Wow. Yes. Okay. So the question deflection, my favorite, my favorite, my favorite. Why? I'll let you know. Just give me a second. Yeah, this is my favorite, guys. The question deflection. Why? Because the focus turns back on the person who's asking you the question. Okay. What do I mean by that is now we flip the pressure on the person who's questioning you. What are we doing? We are flipping the whole scene. We are putting that person in this position that I was in right now. What are we doing? Instead of answering, I'm asking that person another question so that he gets confused and pretty much doesn't want any answer from me anymore. A very beautiful strategy known as the question deflection. Let's get to know it better. Look at the phrase, why do you want to know? It doesn't sound rude. It sounds like, the WH question, why? Why do you want to know that? Am I right? Even if I ask you a question, why do you want to know that? Instead of saying, why do you want to ask? Or what is your problem? Why should I tell you that? It's none of your business. These phrases just kill humanity, and you will actually be remembered as a very rude person throughout that person's life. So why do that to yourself? All right, use phrases like, why do you want to know? Or what made you ask? Very, very good sentence. This one is a very good question form as well. What made you ask? All right. What made you ask? Sorry for that. What made you ask? So this example sentence is, what made you ask about that? Okay. What made you ask about that? So that's the example sentence. All right. So also I want you to understand why it works, because you pause the pressure and then you gain control. In the sense what? The pressure was on you, right? If this person has asked you a question, the pressure was on you to answer that. And you do not want to. So what are you going to do? You're going to shift the pressure on that person. And how are you going to shift it? By using this beautiful strategy, aka also known as the question deflection for you. One of my faves. Faves is a short for favorite. Great. Let's move on to strategy number 6 for today, guys. Okay. And that is the strong wall, like the Great Wall of China. Yes, the strong wall. If someone crosses a serious line, all right, if someone crosses a serious line, you stop. You stop them. Um, Again, sorry for the cough. I'm having a bit of throat problem that's long standing. However, let's talk about that, uh, you know, sometime else. But however, when you look at the topic, the strong wall, okay, it means that you're creating a very strong sentence. However, look at this, please. Use very carefully, guys. You just cannot go ahead and tell someone it's none of your business. Okay, this also can be used. Sentences like these also can be used. However, you should understand if someone is crossing a serious line. All right, if there is something that has become if there is a situation that you're really not able to come out of, and the person A is really incorrect in their tone, or if they are fighting in a fighting mode with you, at that point of time you're going to use this, not every time. All right, so that is the reason I have kind of used this phrase, use carefully. Look at the phrase, it's none of your business. If someone says that, someone tries to push you to do something that you don't really want to do, or if someone is trying to do something that you are not comfortable with, you would just say that that's none of your business, please leave me alone. Okay. And mind your own business is also a good phrase, only when you want to create a strong wall. That is only when you want to use these sentences when you are hurt in some way. All right. So look at the example. Please mind your own business. I don't think you really have, you really have any work, or if you really don't have to think about this right now. So you can just use sentences like that only when you are trying to create a strong wall during any conversation or any circumstance really. Again, use only if someone is crossing serious limits. Please don't use this everywhere. Again, something that is a new strategy that I've at GK Pro. We've just bought it in order for you to understand how simply you can get out of a serious situation as well. Great. So just to kind of reinforce again, we have carefully selected and structured these strategies from a real life usage patterns. Okay, so you can speak without any hesitation, but understand when you have to use them. All right, that is more important. Okay, now let's look at another topic for today, that is fluency boost strategies. And what do you mean by that? Add a softener in between. Softener, it's not like a fabric softener, the fabric liquid that you put into the washing machine after you really use a strong detergent. It's something like that, right? You're using a strong detergent. Like, what is a strong detergent? It's none of your business. All right, if you say it's none of your business, follow it up with this. Okay, follow it up with this. You're just going to add a softener. That is, start with I'm sorry, but I really didn't want to talk about it. Now if you say, if you kind of use this statement, the one that where I'm pointing my cursor at, mind your own business. After that, how do you cover that? You would say, to be honest, I'm not comfortable to talk about that particular situation right now. All right, example, actually I rather not talk about it. Right. So use a calm tone, slow down your speech. Why? Because you, at the end of the day, you really need to sound confident as well. Okay, something like these are also, the sentence here right now, I'd rather not discuss that, also can be used, a very good statement, a very good phrase in order to take you out of that particular situation. Now if you really want to kind of want to do a topic shift in the sense, it's something similar to the steering away, the redirection strategy that I spoke about. All right, you can use a certain phrase which shifts the whole topic, like I rather not talk about it, so how was your trip? You're just not telling the person that I will not talk about something that you asked right now, so how was your trip? Okay, so that's how fluent you can get with the use of all these phrases, guys. Now buying time naturally again is our phrases like, well, let me think and then respond. All right. So I think I was pretty much clear whilst I was talking about all the strategies for today. I think we covered a lot of content. All right. It's such a beautiful content. Please go ahead and practice whenever you feel. I know I did not draw my famous pause icon here, the one that I'm going to really do it on the screen. My classes are incomplete without this. All right. So What I want you to do throughout the whole lesson is, please go ahead and you can just get back into the lesson as well. Okay, and pause the videos and try to make your own sentences, or read the sentences given on the screen as well. That also works equally, reaps the same kind of benefits. All right, great. So let's look at the guided practice session for today. All right, now these are again read aloud practice sentences. Salary question. If someone asks you about salary, you're just going to go ahead and use this. Okay. Secret project. Use this. Why am I highlighting this? I want you guys to read it out on your own. Personal life. That's personal. Maybe later. You're buying some time. Okay. A surprise event. All right. Here, you're just going to kind of say that wait and watch or wait and see. Okay. So, fluency is not only about speaking, okay? It's about knowing what you say. It's about choosing your words well. It's about controlling topics, staying calm. Altogether, fluency is something wherein you are sounding natural. That's it. All right? All right? So, that's real conversation control for you guys. So remember, real fluency is not about speaking nonstop. It's about knowing how to speak to people and when to speak to people, and sometimes how not to speak at all, right? That is known as advanced conversation control as well. Now, if you like this lesson and want to learn more real life English skills, you know, and you want to learn how to sound confident, manage conversations, and speak naturally in any situation, please visit the link in the description below. That's where you'll find our full course and extra training as well. Go check it out, guys, after this video, and I will see you in the next lesson. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.